everyone, and welcome to Business Boutique. I'm Christy Wright, and today we are talking about doing things on purpose. Now, I know that sounds simple, but y'all, a lot of us don't do it. Let's be honest. A lot of us just kind of float through life and we react to our schedule and react to whatever happens to us, and then we don't know why the things that we want to happen don't happen. So we're going to spend a few minutes talking about how to do things on purpose. Now, let me just start by giving you an example of a time that I didn't, okay? So I'm from Nashville, Tennessee. I went to Overton High School here in Nashville. And just to give you guys a snapshot of Nashville in 2001, when I graduated high school, it was not the mecca of travel, food, the arts, music, bachelorette parties, all the things quite like it is today. So if you were to take out all of the cool neighborhoods, all of the cool restaurants, all of the cool anything, that was Nashville. In fact, if you were to drive in downtown Nashville at that time, there were for lease signs on all of the windows and all of the buildings. Like, it wasn't doing great. So as a 17-year-old, me and all of my friends, senior year of high school, thought, I want to get out. Like, I want to get out of this crappy town and go see the world and go away to college. Now, some of my friends went away to other states. Some went to the University of Tennessee. Some went to Western Kentucky, which is nearby. But I decided that I was going to go to the University of Central Florida in Orlando. This was far away. It was in Florida. It was beautiful. Like, y'all, the campus literally looked like something out of Beverly Hills 90210. If you want a 90s reference, there you go. Shows you when I grew up, right? So I chose to go to this school because it was beautiful. And by the way, they had a good business school, which is what I wanted to do. Sounds like a nice concept. However, one small problem. I went to UCF because of the good business school and the beautiful campus. The only problem was I didn't really participate in the business school side of things so much. Yeah, I went to the beach a lot. It's a really close drive to Cocoa Beach, by the way, in case you're ever wanting to go there. And I went to the beach and I went to the pool, and I just was a Tennessee girl in a beach world, and I got really, really, really bad grades. Really bad grades. Now, I'm not a straight A student, but I'm not a bad student. In high school, I think I graduated with like a 3.0 or something like that, somewhere close to that. I was not the top of my class by any means, but I wasn't a slacker student either. Like, I took school seriously, and I'm smart and I work hard. But for some reason, with a beach within 30 miles away, it was a little too tempting to pass up. I decided that I was going to just have fun, and I did. I had a lot of fun. The only problem is my mom was paying out-of-state tuition for this college education. The education part wasn't so much happening. So my sophomore year, I realized that I wasn't going to graduate from UCF anyway because I didn't want to live there long term. As fun as it was, I was like, I'm probably going to live my life in Tennessee. So you know what? I'll save my mom the tuition. We were already spending tons of money in out-of-state tuition. I'll transfer to UT Knoxville where we can get in-state tuition, and I will finish out my education. Well, by the third semester of college at UCF, y'all, I'm embarrassed to tell you this, my GPA that semester was a 1.4. 1.4. And I am your business coach. You're welcome. Feeling confident in me now, aren't you? Yeah. Here's the thing. It wasn't that I wasn't smart and wasn't willing to work hard. I just didn't focus. I wasn't intentional. I didn't go to class. I didn't have a plan. I didn't take it seriously. All of the reasons I didn't do very well. But here's what's so awesome. My sophomore year, when I transferred to UT Knoxville, that second semester, something amazing happened. When you transfer to UT from an out-of-state school, they don't accept your GPA. They give you a clean slate. They take your classes and your credits, but they start your GPA over at UT. Now, y'all, I saw this as this amazing opportunity for a fresh start. It was a clean slate to wipe away all of my educational sins and start over and do really well. And so you know what? That semester, I got really serious. I worked really hard. I came early to class. I stayed late. I did every extra credit opportunity that they had. And even in my classes that were really, really hard, like astronomy, by the way, did you know that's hard? It's like a lot of math. I thought it was about stars. Mistake. Anyway, Even in classes like astronomy, I worked really, really hard. And at the end of my sophomore year, my first semester at UT, y'all, I got a 4.0. I've never gotten a 4.0 in my life, but that semester I did. Because why? Because I was intentional. I took my fresh start and my clean slate seriously, and I got focused and I did what I needed to do to get the results that I wanted. And you know what? Whether it's education, or your business, or your family, or your marriage, or your body, or whatever. It's so easy to float by. It's so easy to crash on the couch and watch another series of American Idol or The Biggest Loser. It's so easy to let your kids just grow up in front of your eyes and you just react to their sports schedules and react to all the demands. It's so easy to react to your calendar or react to the busyness of life. But instead, I want us to do something different. I don't want us to be like me at UCF and just go to the beach and react and just float by. Instead, I want us to be intentional. I want us to do things on purpose. Things will not happen for you in life. You need to make things happen. So we're going to spend a few minutes talking about how to make things happen. Now, I want to focus on 5 specific areas of your life. You may have other areas that you want to be intentional, and I think that's great. But I'm going to give you my top 5 that I focus on in my own life. And hopefully this is an inspiration and can help you get focused there as well. Now, number 1, the first area that I want you to be intentional is your marriage. If you're married, be intentional in your marriage. You know, I saw a quote the other day on Twitter about marriage, and it said, if you want to have what you used to have, you have to do what you used to do. Well, think about that in terms of marriage. What did we used to do? Well, we used to flirt, and we used to go on lots of dates, and we used to hang out just to hang out, and we used to have a lot less responsibilities, and we used to play and be silly and have inside jokes and work out and run and hike, and we used to do a lot of things. Now, thankfully, I'm happy to say, Matt and I still do a lot of those things. But you know what? It's really easy for marriage to become business. You know what I mean by that, don't you? Like, you've got the dry cleaning, I'm going to pick up the kids. Are you getting dinner? Should I get the groceries? I've got to run one errand. Have you paid the cable bill? And then tonight we've got to remember, oh, those pipes are burst. We've got landscapers coming tomorrow. Will you be home or should I be home? Did you close the garage door? I think I left the iron on. It's business. It's just running the home, running the kids, running the schedule, running your lives. And you know what? You and your spouse did not fall in love about any of those things. No one fell in love over the cable bill. Can I get an amen? It's so easy for the marriage to become business. But before your kids and before your to-do list, you and your spouse pretty much probably just had fun together, didn't you? Like you probably just hung out and bonded and laughed and played and had things that made you fall in love with each other. You know, but because life got busy and new responsibilities entered the picture, that tends to slip away. But it doesn't have to. It doesn't mean you can't still have fun. It doesn't mean you can't still bond or have time together. You know, what do you love to do together? Ask yourself that. What do you and your spouse love to do together? It might be a weekly date night or an annual vacation, but it might be something as simple as going for a walk or going to a movie or something else. You know, I told our show producer just before we started recording today, hey, Matt and I are going to a movie tonight, so I'd love to get out a little bit early if I can because we haven't been to a movie in forever. So maybe it's something that simple. Maybe it's something expensive and impressive, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's just hanging out, playing a game, or hanging out on the back deck. You know, there are things that Matt and I used to love to do and used to always do, and we still do because why? Because we schedule time to do them. We're super intentional in our marriage, so those things that we want to happen, they actually happen. Like, what do you and your spouse love to do? What do you enjoy to do together? When do you bond? When do you have fun? When do you laugh? You know, it's different for every person, and it's different for every relationship, but if you don't plan for it to happen, it's never going to happen. There will always be something that makes you more busy or something pulling your attention or something, you know, pulling your energy away. But don't let your marriage become an afterthought. Don't let that be something that just fades into the background and just kind of becomes something you react to or get around to later if there's time left over, because you know that never happens. Instead, be intentional in your marriage in creating those moments and even scheduling those activities that you all love, just you and your spouse. And watch when you do this, how things change, not only for you and your spouse, but even for your kids and your whole family. It will have a ripple effect that you will be amazed at the results. So the first area to be intentional is your marriage. The second one, we just mentioned this, are the kids. So I want you to be intentional and do things on purpose with your parenting. Now, I intentionally made kids a separate area of your life because it is. I know it's easy to think of family as the whole family, and we lump the whole family together, and that's how we divide our time, like family time and then everyone else time. But family time is not just everyone together. There also needs to be the separate marriage time. And so that's why I want to talk about kids and parenting in a separate category. Of course, you'll have family time, but if you're not careful, you'll have only family time, which includes all members of your family, and you lose that one-on-one time with your spouse, which we just talked about. Now, in any area of our lives, it's easy to live our lives just reactive instead of proactive. But this seems particularly tempting when it comes to kids. Now, admittedly, I have 2 kids and they are very young. So I haven't been a mom all that long. My oldest son is 3.5 going on 4 very soon. And I have been a mom just that long. So I'm learning with many of you, and many of you are more experienced than I am. But I've noticed in my own life and even watching other moms that we just tend to react to our children. And I don't mean they run the show, but I mean we react to their lives. So we react to their school schedules. And we just respond to that, and just wherever we have to be, that's where we go, and that's what we do. We react to their sports schedules. You have to be here, this training, this class, this practice, this out-of-town tournament, or whatever. We just react to everything. We react to what other parents are doing. And then, of course, we do that also. We react in handling their behavior. So they behave a certain way, and we react to that. We react in dealing with tough situations. So we might not think through in advance, how will we handle this conflict at school, or temptations on social media, or boundaries with other kids or families or rules or whatever. We don't know until we get in those situations, and then we react. We haven't thought through how we'll handle it until we're in it. And then sometimes it's hard to make a decision when you're actually in the situation. We just react. Now, the problem with this, aside from the obvious, is that something else is always in control of what's going on. The schools, the other parents, the kids acting crazy, they are always initiating whatever's going on, and we are always reacting. That's why it's so important to be intentional and do things on purpose when it comes to parenting. I know that parenting is hard, trust me. Trust me, with the last 3 years of 2 toddlers and a crazy season with the business, I get it. It's very hard and exhausting and time consuming. But if you're going to spend the energy regardless, well, you might as well spend the energy on the front end, shaping your kids and shaping their lives proactively, rather than always reacting to whatever life throws at you, right? Like, you're going to spend the energy regardless, so just spend it on the front end. For example, what do you want your kids to know? Actively teach and model those things. Or what do you want your kids to be able to do? Regularly work on those things with them. What do you want your kids to feel? Intentionally help them process those feelings, right? What do you want your kids to experience? Deliberately create those experiences for them. For example, my son, Carter, is wired exactly like my husband. Conley, unfortunately for everyone, is wired exactly like me. He's crazy. But my son Carter, my oldest, is, as you would expect an oldest child to be. He is steady and cautious and reserved. But as a part of him being a child with this personality, it means that a lot of times he gives up easily. Like, he tries to open a toy and he can't open it. He goes, I can't. And everything just becomes I can't. Like, this defeated, doesn't really try a second or third time, gives up really easily. And as you all know, perseverance is one of my top values. And so raising a child that is not persistent is not an option for me. So I want to raise kids that are perseverant, right? So I want to teach this very deliberately, very intentionally. So I noticed this pattern a few months ago, and I decided to teach him something about this. And I've actually told this story before on the Business Boutique podcast. Some of you may remember. But one time when my son gave up really easily, I looked at him, I said, Carter, I said, you know what we need when we're in a situation like this, when things are hard? He said, what? I said, we need gusto. And he said, what's that? No, he said, where does that come from? I said, it comes from your heart. And he said, what does it mean? I said, it means you try again. And then if it's hard again, you try again, and you just keep trying again. You're like the little engine that could, and you say, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can, until you do. And y'all, he has internalized this so much that he gets it, and he says it all the time. In fact, last time I shared this story on the Business Boutique podcast, I left the studio from recording, and I had a text on my phone, and it was from our nanny that watches my son Carter and Conley, and she said that Carter had just told her, you know what mommy says we need in situations like this? And Becca said, what? He said, we need gusto. Now, I will say this has come back to bite me, because when he wants me to fix his toy, and I say, buddy, I'm sorry, it's broken, I can't. He said, mommy, you just need some gusto. Okay, well played, son. I'll fix the toy somehow. I don't want you to hold yourself to this impossible standard of perfectionism, but be intentional in your parenting. Be intentional in what you want your kids to know and feel and do and experience, what skills you want them to have. Whatever it is that's important to me as a mom that I value, I want to teach that. I want to model that. I want to instill that in my child. You know, the Bible says, train up the child in the way he should go, and when he is older, when he is grown, he will not depart from it. So don't miss the opportunity to be intentional in your parenting. Do things on purpose. Now, in addition to your marriage and your children and parenting, the third area that I want you to do things on purpose is your business. Do things on purpose in your business. Don't just fly by and wonder why you didn't hit your sales numbers or the personal income you wanted or the amount of Facebook followers that you were shooting for. Don't just float by because it won't happen. Instead, do things on purpose. Now, in business, like in a lot of different areas of your life, doing things on purpose means setting goals. It means setting goals on paper, on purpose, that define where you want to go and what you want to accomplish. You know, I had a call recently on the Dave Ramsey show, and the woman said in the same sentence, I want to pay off my home in 5 years, and I want to start a blog to help pay for that. Now, y'all, I'm not opposed to her paying off her home in 5 years. I think that's awesome. I love big goals. And I'm not opposed to her starting a blog at all. But I did need to call out that a blog might not be the best path to get those results. Because see, when you define your goal and your finish line, you want to put your energy and effort and resources in the right direction to get you to that result. She could easily spend 5 years building a blog that doesn't make hardly any money. Blogging's not bad, but y'all, it takes a long time to build up the page visits and the content and the advertising before you start making any money, much less a substantial amount of money, the kind of money that you'd need to pay off your home in 5 years. So I said to her, you can pay off your home in 5 years and you can start a blog on the side. I think that's great, but you're probably going to need a different source of income to get you to that goal. So what are your goals in your business? When you begin to define what they are, you back out of that and say, what must be true today to get me to that finish line? In that example, starting a blog is not what she needed to do to get to that finish line. She needed to do something else, a business that's more profitable, a more stable full-time income that's going to get her there, whatever it is. You begin to know, here's where my energy and effort needs to go to get me the results that I'm looking for. See, when you're intentional in your business and you set goals, you begin to ask yourself, if I want to get here, well, then what must be true today that's going to get me to there? You begin to back out of that goal and see what you need to do each month and each week and each day and today, specifically on your to-do list today, to get you to where you want to be. It means doing things on purpose. So ask yourself some questions. How much money do you want to make in your business this year or this month? How much do you want to grow your email list? How many new clients do you want to gain? How much do you want to grow your social media platform and footprint? You know, when you ask yourself these questions, it helps you understand where you're going, and then you can back out of that and see what you need to do to get there. Now, I actually have a free tool for you, and it's my Business Boutique goal setting tool. So if you want this free tool that's going to help you get to the goals that you set, all you need to do is text bbgoals to 33444. That's bbgoals, all one word, to 33444. Or, of course, you can always go to the show notes for this episode. You can use that tool that's going to help you set and reach your goals. All I want you to do when it comes to business is just be intentional. Set goals and look ahead and decide where you want to be, and then back out of that and say, what must be true today to get me to there? Now, the third area that I want you to be intentional is your business. I talked to a woman just the other day where she is running a multi-million-dollar business and she doesn't want it. She looked up one day recently and realized, I have built this whole thing that I don't even want. I have chased after this finish line and I realized it's not even my finish line. Women, I say this again and again, but if you don't begin with the end in mind, you will end up crossing someone else's finish line. And I don't want that to happen for you. Instead, I want you to be intentional in your business, which means setting goals. It means deciding where you're going and then deciding what you need to do to get you there. So, for example, how much money do you want to make in your business? How much personal income do you want to bring in from your business? Or how much do you want to grow your email list? Or how many new clients do you want to gain? Or how much do you want to grow your social media platform? So you want to begin with the end in mind, and then you know what you need to do to get there. You back out of that and you see, okay, here's what I need to do each month to get there, or each week to get there, or each day to get there, or today on my to-do list, what I need to do to begin to move me in that direction are these things. You begin to see it. It becomes tangible, and you know what you need to do to get the results that you want. All right, so let me give you two more areas. We've talked about being intentional in your marriage and with your parenting and in your business. I've got two more that are two of my favorites. Number 4, be intentional with your body. My friend Susan lives in New York, and she has a friend that apparently gets a facial a month, which Susan, and I agree, thought, well, that is a lot. That's awesome. That's a big commitment in time and money and all the things. And apparently Susan said this to her. Susan said, wow, it's a big commitment. And the girl's response was the best. She goes, well, it is your face. I was like, I love that. It is your face. You get one face. Take care of it. Now, you're probably not going to do a facial a month. I don't. It's a win if I even wash my face at night. Let's be honest. But you know what? The point is taken. You get one face and you get one body. One that we have to live in our entire time on this earth. That's it. Take care of it by working out, by drinking lots of water, by eating nutritious foods that actually give you energy. I'm not talking about losing weight and being fit. I'm talking about being healthy, where you feel good and you're not so tired all the time. But also, being intentional and doing things on purpose with your body means loving it. Loving it for all of the amazing things that it does. Not only if it's perfect, and not because it looks like a supermodel, because it may not, and that's fine, but because it's strong and amazing already. Today, right now, your body is already amazing at what it does for you all day, every day. So love it for that. Appreciate it for what it does. To be totally transparent, I have 2 C-section scars from bringing 2 large babies into this world. 2. Now, I could look at that and think of how much damage it's done, and I could focus on how flawed I am and how ugly and unattractive it is, or I could be amazed at what my body did. I could be amazed at how strong and impressive it is that my body created 2 other humans, 2 of the most amazing little blonde, hilarious humans in the world, by the way, in my very unbiased opinion. You get a choice. You can love your body, or you could constantly be thinking about how something's flawed in it. You can take care of your body, or you could just put a bunch of junk and crap in it. You could work out and exercise your body, or you can just kind of go by day to day, floating through life like I did at UCF in college. Be intentional. You get one body. Take care of it and make sure you're treating it well on purpose. Now let's talk about the 5th area that I want you to be intentional with, and that is your time. Because all of these things require time. Being intentional in your marriage takes time. Being intentional with your kids takes time. Being intentional with your business takes time. And being intentional with your body takes time. The bad news is that all of that takes time, which is something I'd be willing to bet that you already feel like you don't have a lot of. But the good news is that you have more time than you think. See, when you realize that you only have a handful of things that are really, really, really important to you, you might be discouraged at the fact that you can't do everything, but the good news is you can do the most important things. So maybe you don't get to be a part of every single club or organization that you want to be a part of. Maybe you don't get to take on every single project that sounds fun. Maybe you don't get to say yes to every single coffee invitation and you always feel like that you don't have enough time because you can't do those things. But if you ask me, I think that having an amazing marriage and rock star kids and a thriving business and a strong body, all of which you are proud of, then you know what? That's okay. I think it's worth it. I don't want to do everything. I want to be awesome at a few really, really important things. You know, Stephen Covey says the main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing. Now, these are my main things. Yours might be different, and that's okay. If you aren't married and don't have kids, then yours are definitely different. But you know what? At any stage in life, it's just important to live your life on purpose, to be intentional, to not live your life reacting, but instead be proactive. Figure out what's most important to you and then be intentional in those things. Remember, it's the small things behind the scenes that no one ever sees that leads to the big things that everyone wants. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you need help setting goals in any area of your life, be sure to download my goal setting tracker by clicking the link below.